I think in today's world and society, none of us really quite know what's going on. The more time passes, the older we get, the world seems to make less and less sense, and thus, we feel we have less control of our lives. A sense of control of our place in the world both reassures us of our purpose while also providing the motivation to continue being a part of it. The loss of that control can lead to deep-rooted existential dread, which can lead to self-doubt, lack of motivation, lack of self-preservation, and at worst, self-destruction, and eventually a complete betrayal of self, turning us into someone we never thought possible. Kate Macer, the main character of the 2015 masterpiece Sicario, learns progressively throughout the course of the film just how little control and understanding she actually has of the world she occupies. In the beginning of the film, we see a confident and collected FBI agent ready to tackle the Mexican drug cartel in the way that she has been trained to and the only way she understands to.
He did this by the book, right?
Come on, of course.
By the end of the film, we see a disillusioned, beaten, and broken woman who has accepted that she has no authority, no understanding, and no control over this beast of a world which she truly doesn't belong in.
You're not a wolf. And this is the land of wolves now.
I tend to watch this movie at least once every couple years, and as I've gotten older and have more life experience under my belt, continue to be shocked over how much more I resonate with Kate in each subsequent viewing, often in ways that I'm not even certain the film originally intended to, especially in the political climate of 2025, nearly 10 years after its original release. When I first watched the film in 2015, I found Kate to be kind of annoying. I thought her insistence to do things by the book in spite of everything she encounters and suffers through, and her resistance to just letting the CIA do their thing by the end was almost infuriating. But if you peel back the subtle layers of who Kate is as a person, you start to understand her, and if not completely sympathize, at least empathize with Kate's position. Alright, let's get some coffee before we get started. Hey, honey. Yep, I'm trying the YouTube thing again. All right. Yeah. Okay. Now, where was I? Now, it's important to mention that before Kate became involved with the CIA and fighting the drug cartel, her expertise was in kidnapping.
She's been leading our kidnap response team for 3 years.
So it's not like her preference to have operations done to the letter are completely ego-driven, as situations as fragile as ones involving potentially multiple civilians needs the absolute strictest extreme caution exercised to ensure the safety for as many innocents as possible. In an argument with Josh Brolin's character after an intense shootout at the border crossing, she even mentions how many civilians were around them.
You just spray bullets, and yeah, sure, there's just civilians everywhere. I'm not a soldier, this is not what I do.
But while Kate may want to run a tight and clean operation with procedure, over the course of the film, it's shown to us that Kate herself is far from being a well-put-together individual. Now, Kate is clearly a beautiful woman. I mean, it's Emily Blunt. But throughout the entire movie, Kate looks like she hasn't properly bathed in days. We learn pretty early on that she is divorced.
Am I married?
Do you have a husband?
Divorced?
Stays in a crappy one-bedroom apartment, and admits to her FBI partner that she hasn't had an intimate encounter in quite a while. She's socially awkward, owns what seems to be only a single pair of pants, not that I can relate to that, and quickly picks up smoking once the job starts getting stressful, a habit she mentions in the film that she previously struggled with.
Got you smoking again?
Yeah.
Hell, the only time she manages to get some action, the guy turns out to be in the pocket of the cartel and tries to kill her. And while this is just a theory of mine and isn't explicitly stated within the film, Kate's need for control within her job might be the one thing keeping her life from becoming total chaos. If the one constant thing that has always had a sense of order in her life also falls into chaos, well, what does she have left?
You getting the vibe that we're winning?
No.
This would explain how the situation amplifies Kate's increasingly defiant nature as the operation becomes less understandable, and she is confirmed to be more or less a pawn for the operation.
Then where are we going?
Because CIA can't operate within U.S. borders without a domestic agency attached. I told you he'd be useful.
Culminating with her saying she is going to talk and expose the operation when she learns just how sinister everything truly is. That she is essentially aiding in the destruction of one drug cartel so that their rival can rise to the top, allowing for the drug war to be more manageable for the CIA.
I'm gonna tell everyone what you did.
Kate tries to be a good person and a model agent, and this effort of good faith is routinely thrown back at her face, often violently.
Right now.
Don't ever point a weapon at me again. Catch your breath. And get back up there.
This parallels, but is also in stark contrast, to the secondary main character and actual protagonist of the film, Alejandro Gillick. Oh, I forgot I have an outfit for this bit. Hey again, honey. Man, why is that getting tighter? Hey. Surplus store. Layaway. 3 payments. Remember, you chose to marry me. And she was okay with me painting the wall green. I don't know where this was drawing the line. Alejandro Gillick throughout most of the film seems like a stoic ghost, his taking a liking to Kate being the only thing that truly humanizes him. This ambiguity is intentional though, since we are supposed to see the world through the same eyes as Kate. However, there are some subtle and not so subtle hints as to who Alejandro really is.
Lo siento por lo que pasó.
Over time, it's eventually revealed that Alejandro used to be a prosecutor in Mexico who was seen as a serious threat by the cartel, and when he didn't bend, they took it upon themselves to break him. They executed both his wife and daughter in sadistic ways, completely breaking Alejandro. The CIA transformed Alejandro's rage into a tool, and turned him into a ruthless and cold assassin. In the climax of the film, Alejandro kills the entire family of the cartel boss who was in charge of giving the order to execute his wife and daughter. However, this clearly brings Alejandro no peace, as in the very next scene, he literally puts a gun to Kate's head in order to get her to sign off that they did the operation cleanly and by the book, after revealing to Kate that she reminds him of his daughter.
You remind me of the daughter they took away from me.
It's a truly fascinating and disturbing scene to see a man gently wipe away the tears of a woman who reminds him of his daughter while also pressing a pistol against her throat. In my opinion, Kate doesn't just remind Alejandro of his daughter, she also reminds him of the version of himself who he lost. Also, in my opinion, Kate signing the paper wasn't just her giving in under the threat of death, but also her acceptance that she doesn't belong, nor does she want to be a part of, the same world Alejandro has to suffer in. And Alejandro knows this.
You're not a wolf. And this is the land of wolves now.
And after Alejandro leaves Kate's apartment, Kate goes to her balcony and points her own gun at him, who doesn't protest, but turns to face her, making himself a larger target. In response, Kate eventually relents and lowers her weapon. And to me, this truly completes Kate's arc and separates her from Alejandro. Kate may have lost her family. Her life may be in shambles. The world may have just chewed her up and spat her back out. But she won't compromise who she is as a person. Her signing the paper was her losing that last bit of control she had. But her lowering her weapon showed us that she wasn't going to become another Alejandro. Which is why I'm very glad Kate wasn't a part of the sequel, even if the lack of her presence was definitely felt to the audience. Throughout our entire lives, how we define ourselves is going to be challenged. It's going to be broken, transformed, rebuilt, evolved, and regressed time and time again. But our character is something that we ourselves always have the power to keep. And as life continues to throw its challenges and curveballs at me as I grow and change, characters like Kate show me that maintaining my character through it is reward enough, while characters like Alejandro show me the devastation of losing it. Okay, let's go apologize. I should probably return this thing. It does have a 30-day return policy. What? Honey? What is it? Oh, you do understand. Love ya. So, does this mean we get to play a little, good cop, bad FBI agent action? Or never mind. Mission failed.